And I'll give Chuck a second here since I sent him the wrong code. Hopefully that works. Meeting again. All of our meetings, all of our public meetings are being recorded on Teams. So if you stay on and participate, we just want you to be aware and acknowledge that anything you say on here will be recorded and that we will post it on our YouTube account later for public viewing. It is a public meeting and it's public record. So while we're waiting for Chuck to join, the first thing on the agenda was approval of previous meeting minutes. We met on September 1st. Were there any issues from any of the members on that? Any questions, concerns?
No.
If not, I would entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Barry, Chester made a motion to approve. Barry here seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, 3-0. So we are ready for site plan review for 952 West Shore Drive, right? Yes, okay, sorry.
952.
I've got both these minutes in front of me, trying to keep them straight here. Grab my site plan. Here's Chuck. Are you with us, Chuck? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jonathan.
Sorry, I sent you last month's code. Sorry about that. Glad to have you. Okay, we're going to get started. We just approved the minutes. So we are looking at site plan for 952 West Shore. As we were kind of discussing right before we got started, just for refresher, this has already been to BZA for approval. Barry here, who's with me, is on the BZA. I had the minutes here. I think I attached them to the meeting. I'll look at those real quick, see if there's anything for the case here. It was case 10B, which was in August. And the groups had updated their site plan for the meeting. And the requests were a north side setback of 8 feet, 55% maximum impervious surface, and to build a boathouse as previously requested. And that was passed unanimously at the meeting in August. So that's a quick review of the BZA minutes. If everybody's good, we will move on to our checklist, and I'll just kind of go through that unless any of the members, do any of the members have any questions that we want to address before we start going through the checklist? Chester, do you have anything?
Not at this moment.
Chuck, did you have any?
No, I do not.
Barry?
I want to ask Chuck, was there an issue on this 55% that they were going to present to you some plan, or is that after they got started? Was there something like that on this one?
Could you hear him, Chuck?
No, I couldn't hear him completely. About the 55%.
Yeah. Weren't they going to show you or come up with a design, whatever they were going to do as far as their plans? As far as showing you the exact impervious and pervious.
Yes, before they start, they've got to show us that.
All right.
Okay.
I will make sure I send a note.
Okay. So they will, so basically provide an impervious surface calculation for Chuck to review before they get started?
Chuck's going to review it for you when they get started, yeah.
Hi, this is Jason. I believe that's on the original site plan.
And I think it was brought up again on.
I did not look at the secondary site plan that we sent today. I apologize. I've been kind of
Oh,
busy
yeah.
today, but
No, it's not on this revised one, Jason. It's on our original one that you did send with the BZA, but it is in really tiny print on the ones we printed off, and it's a little blurry.
Okay.
I don't know if you have a better copy, you can read that for us, maybe.
Lori, are you on here?
Yes, we were waiting for the exact calculation to have the landscape architect plans, which did you get those completed, Jason?
I don't have them yet. I'll be honest with you. I was comfortable with, with not going over 50%, but I think in lieu of everything that's going on this site, that we were kind of trying to shy on the trying to be as conservative as possible, I guess.
Jason or Lori, can one of you just read what was on that original plan? Because I can see it, but I can't quite make out the numbers. Do either of you have that?
Right now, the footprint of the house, garage, porches, seawall, boathouse, and driveway equals 8,585 square feet.
In the total lot, looks like 17,000 something. 926?
Yes, I don't have the survey right in front, the actual survey right in front of me. I don't know if
Oh,
Jason does.
I think on the revised plan, right above the impervious number, it says lot, and then it looks like 17,926 square feet to me.
Oh, yes.
It's hard.
It's 17.
Is that right?
It's 17,326.
Oh, 326. Okay.
Yeah.
17,326, and what is the impervious surface? 8 what?
8585. But we've still got a little bit more to go
8585.
because of the retaining walls and the steps down to the lake. So the exact number can't be gotten until we get the landscape architect plans
Okay.
back.
So on those on the current plans or the BZA plans that were submitted, it was 49.5%. And it sounds like the BZA agreed that you could present that information to Chuck prior to the permit, and so long it was under 55%, as was apparently granted in the variance, that would be okay. Is that correct?
Right. That's what our understanding
Okay.
was.
Barry's shaking his head yes here in the background. So thank you for that.
That's correct.
Okay.
So I think we'll be just a little over the 50%, but
Okay.
like I say, we won't have that exact number yet.
All right. Yep. Just make sure and submit that to Chuck as soon as you have it, so he has a chance to review it and approve it. With that being said, I think let's move on to our checklist. Looks like all existing buildings are indicated on the plan.
Excuse me for 1 second. This is
Sure.
Jason. I just want to make sure we have to submit that before the permit will be issued. Is that correct?
I'll defer to Chuck on that one, Chuck.
Yeah, we would like to have it before, unless you agree that you'll take it. I mean, well, it's not going to be over 55%. It can't be.
Yeah.
Correct.
So as long as
Correct. Because I don't know, we've got a lot of flexibility with our driveway. If we're allowed, from what we've heard, that we can use, some stone and some pavers and those types of things, which are counted only as 50%. We can get creative in those ways if we have to, but I don't necessarily believe it's going to be an issue.
okay, but just for the record, stone and pavers are not 50%. Okay, depending on what kind of stone you use and what kind of pavers you use and how far apart they are. So it's not a given 50% reduction.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, just for background, Jason, when we've had those, we have reduced the percentage of surface that we have considered impervious when people have used pervious pavers. and some other setups for driveways. But Chuck's right. We've basically looked at those on a case-by-case basis where sometimes we've asked for, the product specs, some details on the design, and kind of determined a percentage that we think is fair. And a lot of times that's either been this group or Chuck himself doing that. And so if you do anticipate including that, I would just say the sooner you can get that information to Chuck to give him a chance to digest it, the better.
Thank you.
Okay, that works. Thank you.
So new building or addition is indicated with diagonal lines. This is all new, correct? On this,
Yeah.
this was a
Yes, all
tear
new.
down? And the boathouse as well. There wasn't a boathouse there.
There was a boathouse there. Yes.
Okay.
It
To
is being
replace the
demolished.
system. Okay. Lot line setbacks and street are shown properly. So we've got, is it 10 foot 4 inches to the north to the actual building? And then it's 8
Yes,
foot
that's,
to the
yes,
eaves?
that's to the foundation line.
Okay. The distance to the eaves, is that 8 feet?
And that has been adjusted with the new prints that we sent today.
I guess I'm not seeing the distance from the eaves marked. I just see it to the foundation line.
Oh, from the east.
Yeah.
What is that, Lori? I forget.
It's approximately 70 feet.
No, on the north side. From the property
that a
line.
side?
Is that a 16-inch
feet.
overhang?
It's a 24-inch overhang,
Okay.
and we had the variance. So all along the north, we were going to be 8 feet from the overhang, but now we've decided to rotate the house just a little bit towards the west. So up at the lake, up at the east edge of the house, the northeast corner, will be 14 feet from the property line to the foundation line now.
Okay. So, but the
We're
closest
trying to
section.
get
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the closest point stayed the same at 8.5 or 8.4.
8.4. Got it.
yes.
Okay.
We just basically pivoted the house to get the view more at the lake. It was pointing in a weird direction along the property line.
And it looks like that was the only variance granted as far as setbacks, was that 8'4" on the north. You're still at 10'6" to the south, it looks like, which would meet our requirements. From
Right,
the street.
right. It brought us a little bit closer to the west edge, but we're still within the setback.
Sure. So it looks like from the street, we're at 69 to the foundation line. So a little less than that to the actual eave, but that's within what's required for the setback. And then I'm looking from the lake. Yeah, so we've got 70 feet marked, it looks like, to the north. I don't see it on the south end or the line of sight. Is the line of sight the white line or kind of the boxed out area? I don't see it indicated, I guess. Because the setback on the lake side, as you guys know, is basically a line of sight setback. We draw a line between the two nearest properties on the north and south here, and you'd have to stay behind that line as they're connected.
Well, we are behind the neighbor to the north, and we're not behind the neighbor to the south, but we are a lot further back than the existing house was.
Okay, that becomes somewhat of a problem because even though it's better than it was, we now have an empty slate a clean slate, and we want that to meet the current regulations. So we've really got to know where that point is as for the line of sight on the other side, because at the variance meeting, that was not going to be a problem. And now you say the house is turned and it's farther forward, so.
No,
No,
this
we haven't
is
moved the
this
house
is the
forward.
same. We haven't moved the house forward or backwards at all. This is the same. All right, this is the same position it was in for the BZA meeting.
Okay.
Was that presented clearly on a site plan at the BZA meeting, Chuck or Barry? Because again, I guess it's really hard. I'm switching to GIS here to look at it, and it's just hard to see the neighboring properties on GIS very well. Gosh, it's, yeah. I don't know if you guys could hear Barry. To the north, right, we think we're okay there. Our concern is to the south. Look lower, Barry.
If we have to go back behind or even with the house to the south,
Yeah.
if we have to do that, then the house to the north is going to completely block our view.
Right. So, Chuck, you can explain, I guess, the actual process of it. Is it a line from the furthest corner south on the south property and connecting to the furthest corner north on the north property, or does it run both property lines? I kind of forget where you start and stop on that.
You start on the house.
Okay.
For the furthest point.
Okay. So I hopefully you guys heard that and understood what Chuck's saying is the furthest point to the lake, Chuck, is that correct?
Yes.
So we would draw a line between those two existing structures on the furthest point towards the lake, draw a line between them, and the setback for this property can't exceed that. Let me try and share what I've got up here real quick.
And is that structure or is that deck as well?
So that would include your furthest point would be your deck. How tall, how high is your deck going to be off the ground?
Ah,
Our deck's
deck
going to
will-
be at ground level.
And it does not have
well-
a covering.
Okay, so you say it's going to be at ground level, so we're less than 30 inches high.
But then it drops to the basement underneath, which you won't even know from the house next door.
Right. And I think that was a positive because the house next door couldn't see anything there.
Yeah.
Chuck or Barry, was there any discussion about the lakeside setback at the BZA? I mean, I know it wasn't listed in the minutes or in the variance that was granted. So my assumption would be it needs to comply with that existing rule, but not seeing it on the site plan, I didn't know if any of the commission members had any, or board members had questions, or if it was discussed there that you.
There was some just discussion, Barry, if you remember, we talked about how far the house was forward before, and that this was an improvement from there.
Okay.
Right.
And we were trying to hold it back as far as we could, but knowing that they were going to improve from what it was.
Yeah, and and the thing about that drawing is that or about the way the house is, that the front of the house, and then there's a 16-foot cutback that comes back towards the roadside. So the furthest most point out is actually 36 feet from the first edge of the house, and then it cuts back 16 feet to the next wall where the steps and everything come down off of that deck. So that deck is completely open off of that south elevation.
And did I remember correctly that you're going to use some type of a wire cable around that or not?
It's more of a thin piece of steel. It's more of a bar stock type. Same general principle, just a little more of a modern look.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess where I'm at on that is I need more information on it. I'm fine with however commission members, TRC members here want to handle that, but I think it does need to comply with that setback requirement, and it's not shown on the set plan or the site plan we have. So it's not in the minutes yet. Barry, Chester, Chuck, what are you all's thoughts? I mean, some of these things with one item like this we have.
I would agree with that, Jonathan.
Sure. Just on the procedural part, though, I guess, again, I hate holding things up. I know he's been through a couple of hearings. I don't want to require or put Chuck in a tough spot, but if everyone's okay and comfortable with him reviewing that on site, I guess I would be okay with making that a condition of our approval and allowing him to confirm that and the impervious surface limit before the permit's issued on his own. What do you guys think? Or
Fine.
Chuck, if you remember,
Chuck just walked in the door.
Chuck, you remember at that meeting, I think it was the neighbor to the north, the one that was asking all the questions about the drinking. Yes. And when it was all said, I mean, they would want to put the wire, which you said you would like to see that as well. But then at the end of it, they were pretty well just, he was fine with it.
He was fine with what they were going to use, correct?
So Chuck, you still had the phone on, so hopefully you heard that discussion. I was willing to put that on your plate, I guess, if you're comfortable with that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Because I think that's exactly what they were expecting.
Okay.
Well, I not to put it on Chuck either, but I think that's pretty much where it fell at the meeting.
If everybody's good with that.
Yep.
Lori, Jason, so what we're talking about again is just that we'll have Chuck confirm that. The members are pretty comfortable with allowing him to review that himself. So again, you'll have to work with Chuck and get that to his satisfaction before you start.
Okay, so maybe sometime we could meet Chuck out at the site with the builder, and everyone could get on the same page at the site.
Absolutely.
So we can really look at it.
Yep, I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to principal building height. Again, not listed on the site plan. I believe it was in the one you set with BZA. Do you have the total height from grade to the peak of the roof for us?
Well, this grade varies so much on this property that we weren't sure like where you would measure as the finished grade, because the house kind of has to climb up the hill, and so we weren't sure, what you exactly went by, but we're at about. I mean, if you want to come with the main grade, which comes around, where the front door is, up to the upper roof, is about 29 feet high.
Okay. Yeah, so maximum height is 35. There's a section in our ordinance, which I don't know if you've had a copy of or looked at closely, but that does explain how we determine grade. I was gonna
Average from the center,
yell it in the machine, Barry. He says the average at the center.
at the center.
So the average level at the center of the parcel is where we would establish grade, basically.
Center of the house.
Oh, center of the house, I'm sorry. So that would be your established grade, and 35 is the maximum, so 29, we shouldn't have an issue there.
And that's where I'm measuring right at the center of the house. Yeah, we're 29.
Okay, excellent. Accessory buildings, the height for the boat shed. And the garage is attached, correct? Yeah. So what is the height for the boat shed?
It's 12 feet.
But it's only, it's less than 30.
It's below, yeah.
And yeah. It's below 30.
So the variance, granted, included allowance of, though, correct? Or?
Yes, but it's
Correct.
placed,
It's placed in the ground.
placed in the ground as opposed to sitting on top of
Okay.
it.
I don't see the profile on that.
And they meant less than 30 inches.
It's less than 30 inches total from
Yeah, that's
existing.
exposed above.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the setback on that from the lake, I know it's actually listed on here, but.
Yeah, it's actually only 192 square feet, I think. Something like that, wasn't it?
Any questions or concerns about the boathouse? It sounds like that was looked at again at BZA, and it's going to be built down into the existing grade there. And I guess we said 12 feet total construction height for the materials, and 192 square feet.
Yes, it's a 12 by 16. We're 12 feet back from the seawall with it.
Thank you.
And 10 feet to the overhang.
I need a quick map.
I think that's all on accessory structures. So front yard, accessory structure, not to exceed 250 square feet. So we're okay there. Minimum square footage requirements met. That's for the parcel itself. And yes, this one does meet the minimum square footage requirements for an L1. Parking spaces are provided, shown on the plan, only 2 are required, and we've got that in the garage, so we're good on parking spaces. Stormwater drainage, I know we don't need county review on this, but Chuck, is there anything being required on this site plan for stormwater?
I
No,
don't know how you do it.
no, we didn't.
No.
We didn't require anything other than, we want the silt fencing and everything up during construction, but
So we'll have some erosion control issues, but no,
no.
there's no existing, what's the word? I just blanked. Basin, there's no existing catch basin on this property? That was a question for Jason or?
There is none. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I had you on mute. My fault. There is no current catch basin, but we will be putting one in for the downspouts down by the lake. We can expel that water into the lake.
Okay. Sure, if you want any guidance on that and want to submit a plan for that, it's not required, but we definitely recommend, there are some best practices to follow on that as far as if you can release it at a decent distance from the lake and let it pass through some vegetation before it enters the lake. That's always better for the health of the lake long term. So we'd ask you to take a look at that. If you can do 25 25 feet with
Very
a
good.
vegetative buffer is great if you can do that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Meets lot frontage and lot width requirements. It's like 74 feet, or I'm sorry, that's on the street side, 76 feet across the lake. Our minimum lake, I believe is it 50?
Actually,
75,
75.
sorry. Public sewer, or no, that's minimum lot width, minimum lot frontage is 50 feet. So yes to both. At 76 feet, we're good there. Structures and parking are at proper setbacks. That one doesn't apply. Neither does the next one. Any supplemental regulations any of the commission members have concerns about? I think we've talked about the boat shed. That's the only accessory structure. The deck's attached, the garage is attached. I don't have any. Chuck, do you?
No, I do not.
Barry, did you have any supplemental?
No, I have none at all.
Chester?
No,
Okay. So erosion control, Chuck will review that with you again as the permit's issued. If you want to go ahead and give them I know you said it earlier, but just to reiterate here on erosion control.
We'll need a silt fence, protect the lake.
Correct.
And if we have to have two, you know, that's not unheard of.
Yeah.
You know, just depending on how much you disturb the earth, but we definitely don't want any silt going into the lake.
Yeah, we've got,
Yeah.
So the excavator that we used for demolition is Zaner. They're from the Culver area. He's pretty well versed in what should be done. We can gladly, I would gladly meet you out there along with him just to kind of make sure that we've got everything covered before we do any of the work. And I did have an engineer do an erosion control plan. If you need a copy of that as well.
Yeah, that would be great. You've got my email. If you could send that to us, that would be
Yep.
great.
Because actually,
Sure
road
can.
is mandated with
Yes.
permits.
So yeah, right. I don't know if you could hear Barry. He was saying erosion control is part of the permit. So we definitely want to make sure, as Chuck said, usually it's a silt fence around the property to keep runoff from entering the lake on the lake. That's the main
Yep.
thing. Sometimes, you know, each site can be a little different. So if it's helpful to have him look at it while he's on site there too, that can help. So.
Perfect.
Signage, no signage, impervious surface. Chuck will do a final review on that before the permit's issued. I don't have any further comments or questions on that. No landscaping plan required, no sidewalk requirements. That is the checklist. Again, I guess I'll stop here, and if any of the commission members have other questions or concerns, otherwise we'll circle back to some of the main discussion items we had, but I'll start with Barry over here.
I have none, and I know there's no landscaping provided, not required, but as far as buffers, but I do
Mhm.
know we have the for landscape or anything that would block within that setback on be the north and south side.
I don't follow. What's the question?
You know how we
He doesn't want large trees planted or that
in our setbacks,
in the line of sight,
Side
the line of sight.
setbacks, line of sight thing.
Yeah, we won't be putting any on the lake side,
Okay,
large trees anyway.
okay, good answer, thank you.
Yes.
How about you have a fence that's perpendicular, would have to be a view, same as brush.
Anything else, Barry?
No, nothing else.
Chester, did you have any questions or concerns?
no,
We have-
no.
Not
Chuck?
at this time,
Okay.
no.
I don't either, so let's go. I think we had 2 items. Let me make sure I get them in here. So the line of sight setback from the lake. And the final impervious surface calculation.
Mhm.
I
Those are the
think.
2 I had.
Yeah, I think the discussion so far has been that we're comfortable with having Chuck review those. And I would, if a commission member is comfortable, suggest if someone wants to make a motion to approve the site plan with, on two conditions, one that the line of sight setback is reviewed by Chuck DeWitt and approved, and that the impervious surface calculations are also provided to Chuck and approved by him before construction starts. I'd entertain such a motion from any of the members if they're willing to make it.
So moved.
I got a motion from Barry. Chester, I'll put you down as the second.
Fine.
Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 4-0, and I will turn this to Chuck for a second, and he can kind of give you an update on where things go from here.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
The next thing is you can apply for your permit. You can do that
Okay.
online. You can go to the Marshall County website.
It's applied for.
Yep.
It's up.
I
Right,
actually
okay.
already did apply for it.
Okay, so then
I wasn't
actually the
aware
next
of
thing,
this meeting.
okay, the next thing that we'll do then is when I get back to the office in the morning, go over that with our plan director. We'll go ahead and issue that permit based on this meeting. And then you and I will need to set a time and meet at the site
Okay, that's perfect.
before we begin. So I'll let you figure out when that is. Monday through Friday is good for me.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be over there with the excavator and the concrete guy on Monday at 8 a.m. We're going to be there for a while, is my assumption. So if you'd like to come Monday morning, that would be fabulous.
Okay, I'll make it there on Monday morning.
Okay.
And
And Dave,
Yes.
Dave Carr, the general contractor, said that he would like to meet with you too, Chuck. So I'll let him know, or Jason can let him know that Monday morning would be good. Maybe he could be there too.
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, unless you're not doing anything tomorrow morning, because we've got that same group of people going to be there.
What time tomorrow?
Same.
Okay.
It's entirely up to you.
Actually, probably I could make it tomorrow a little bit easier.
Okay.
So I've got help in the office tomorrow, and so I can make it there tomorrow morning.
Okay. Well, that's perfect.
That'll be
We'll
perfect.
be there.
Okay, and we can work on the line of sight, get that all laid out tomorrow, so when they begin to dig, they don't have to slow down.
Sounds good to me. I appreciate it.
Okay, that's all I have. Jonathan?
That's it. For me, Chester, if you want to stay on, we can cover one more thing, but it's not related to this site permit, just kind of general
Yeah.
business. So if you guys, if anybody else wants to drop off, you're more than welcome to, and we'll wait a second here and then talk about just a regular kind of plan commission item.
Okay.
But thank
Thank
you.
I appreciate
If you
it.
have any
you.
questions, let us know. Thanks.
Bye.
Chester, you were asking, you had a question for Chuck, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Chuck,
All right.
did you happen to drop off those, hello, Chuck?
He's here. Yeah, sorry, I'm pointing
Yeah.
at the wall. He's over there.
Yeah. I'm
Did you happen
listening.
to drop off those plan committee or institutional
No, I do not have those yet. What, I've got the GIS is working on that right now. We've been meeting about every other day, getting everything put together as to what it would be, including with the academy. I've got something came up yesterday. There's one parcel that has 72 lots on it.
huh?
But yeah, it's just based as one.
Yeah.
So we got to get that corrected. I'm going to meet with the academy and try to get that done.
Where's
before
that
we-
parcel at?
Just around the rowing center.
Oh,
If you look on the map, you'll see that it's all these lots down through. I think she told me there were 72.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I got to get that cleared out yet, but that's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to see those other, what the other communities have done in light of this.
right. So as soon as I get our preliminary from there, then I'll get that information to you. Okay.
Okay, great.
Any other member business?
I have something.
Sure. Chuck's got something.
Okay. I don't know exactly how to do this, but the lot on West Shore just sold. You know where the outlet is?
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So, somebody new bought those 2 parcels.
Each side of the outlet, or-
No,
or
it's
just at the corner? Okay,
it's there at the corner before it makes the curve.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see it here.
Okay. And they are going to be building a new house. So what does their line of sight become? Because there's no house,
But it's on the other side of the road, right?
it's on the north side.
Okay.
It's the north side of the outlet.
You're getting this one,
Yeah, it's this one.
and they bought both
No,
those.
it's this one here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's this one here.
So I'm almost there.
So they bought this lot and this lot. Okay,
And they're,
but somebody else owns that one.
okay.
Okay, so now where does the line of sight become for this? Do we measure back 25 feet and then make a line across to this house? How do we do that? Because basically, there's not a neighbor there.
If it,
I'm gonna share it here, Chester. Just give me a second.
the way it has been in the past, I don't know how you would read it now. But
Can you see it,
anytime there was
Chester?
an empty lot on the
Yeah.
other side, there was no line of sight needed. As long as they met the setback.
So,
And that's the way. it-
Are the 2 lots outlined in light blue?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
so that's the lot that was purchased. There's a house here. See, I guess I was still thinking, I think this one to the south, isn't this one parcel now with a road between it?
Yes, it is.
That's the way it looks on there.
That's one of them.
That's one of them.
So, I mean, my thought was still that you just draw the line. I don't know.
You,
Am I crazy?
well, the trouble is, now we go back to the old problem.
What's that?
As far as being able to combine the lots when the road goes through.
But yeah, that's not ideal, but I know that's what's there now.
Not
so.
ideal, but I mean, right now you got a case where it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
already there.
It's already there, and it just can cause a little bit more.
So what's the, I mean, there's only really 2 options, right? It's either draw the line or on the south, it's 25 feet, right?
Yeah, I think that's the options, but
Options.
but because there's nothing on that side of the road, I
Which
thought
that's a
that
huge difference though, yeah. So,
But, yeah, I mean,
I would use the corner of their property line and be happy with that coming from,
so it's like
not-
something like that.
Or-
I know that's rough.
Yeah.
Something like that versus,
Were you going from the center of the property on the lake?
I did, but I don't know if that's right. Is that wrong, Chuck?
Yeah.
Should I
Well-
use the corner?
what about if we just
No.
came from the corner,
the angle would only
Like right here?
but if you came from
This corner or the north corner?
north corner?
So go 25 feet.
down there would,
No, don't use 25, just come all the way up to where it cuts back.
Oh, up here?
Yeah, now see what that line is over to the other house.
you're not
Pretty
much
close. Kind of split the difference.
You're not gonna meet a setback on the
But
front,
aren't they gonna combine those 2 lots?
the front and back one,
The front one and the back one they are. I told them they have to do that.
east and west, yeah.
Before they get it from that, they have to do the east and west.
Cause they'd be building property on one and nothing on the other.
Wow.
I'm sure they're pushing to be closer, right?
Well, they want to be.
I mean, if you were going by line of sight, you'd almost have to go by the edge of the road.
What do you mean?
Well, there's no property and there's no house, whatever, and if you want to say line of sight is looking straight.
Yeah, show us there.
I mean, if you're coming here to the edge of the road, you know, basically, because all your sight's gonna be toward the lake, if you want to try to use this line of sight. But I myself feel like this goes out, and that goes out, and I know in the past, when there was nothing on one side or the other, it was an empty lot, they were pretty much had to hold to their 25-foot setback site required. But, I mean,
But if you hold the 25-foot setback, they're gonna move up well in front of the neighbor.
I know,
Yeah.
And that I
But-
didn't think was
but the
right.
line of sight this way is not to the lake though. I mean, you're pretty much got.
Well,
light
I
comes
think,
on around there, so line of sight for the lake.
look at the way that house is facing. I think that neighbor would argue.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And it is, you know, their house is,
They're
Yeah.
parallel.
yeah. I still just, isn't that the one, Barry, that Jim Easterday did the whole presentation on at Plan Commission, that there's no dedicated road there, it's just a,
This has been an
Easement or
argument for
something,
20
like-
years.
and,
It's been a 20-year argument, at least.
and wasn't that how he got it okay to get the two combined into one? Because I think that used to be two parcels, and maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I think Russ was still here.
Yeah, I don't think that one.
It was either that one or just to the
just
south
to
of
the
it.
South.
Oops.
That's a better shot.
It's close. Got more water.
Yeah. Quit zooming. Trying to scan here.
So they're wanting to build on are those the
This one-
dark blue property lines now?
It's this
Those
one.
two lots on the lake?
The house that the arrow's on here, Chester. They want to tear that down and move it closer to the lake.
Oh, boy. And the lot goes, oh,
Across the
they want to
road.
move it closer to the lake?
Well, that's what they would like to do.
Oh, brother.
Or was it this one? Yeah, see, that one's across the, that looks
Yeah.
like it crosses too. I can't remember which one it was. 'Cause I think it's sold. It was Wyrick's, wasn't it? I don't know, this one's Wyrick. Maybe it was that one.
Okay.
I guess the only thing I can say is look at the language that we have on the setback. Does it say?
It doesn't speak of anything with an empty lot or 25
Not
feet.
anymore.
No.
And it was,
That's not in there?
I don't think so it is anymore. I know it used to be if existing house on either side, you went to the
Yeah,
left side.
my question is just which
That's
one
what-
of those applies in this case, and I
Right.
still,
And if there is no existing house,
if they're separate parcels to me, I totally see what you're saying, that's an empty parcel. We might not like it, but I don't know how we can tell them they can't move it closer.
that's
If
what-
those are a combined parcel with a street running through it, even though we don't like those, I feel like we can say, that's one parcel, fine, you've got to stick to it. Because honestly, to me, that's not a huge burden. The house is already in that place. Like, I know they want to tear down and build new, but
Well,
move it, expand towards the road, and, you know, I know that's not what they want to do, but that's my 2 cents.
You know how you got your red line in the middle? the
Yeah.
Red line? That to me is probably the closest compromise I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, here it is. It's in here. Where property immediately adjacent on either side of the lot is already developed with principal structures, the required setback shall be determined by a line drawn between the farthest extension of the adjacent structures, including any decks or raised patios. In no case shall the setback be less than 25 feet from the normal high water mark. A parcel of land not having water frontage shall have a front yard setback of not less than 25 feet. So I guess it doesn't say the part about being empty. It just
Being
says
empty, right,
must be
right.
at least 25 feet.
And the argument was, and again, I hate to say this out loud, but this was a practice that Russ Mason argued because it wasn't in black and white, but he had a good point on that, that you don't have anything to go by line of sight, so you can't keep them from going 25 feet, which this is what we're discussing right now. Russ
Yeah.
was
Right,
very
that's
much
why,
right.
that's why we're discussing it ahead of time.
And I do not, I know the closer you get, the closer they get
Right.
over time.
Right.
And this has always been my argument as far as any variances where they
Yeah.
actually get them closer. You know, to a variance.
Yeah.
Well, I
Because
can
it's just goes
see
back
if
to
I
line of
can,
sight after that.
I can see if I can convince them of that middle line that you've got.
To me, it's,
I mean, it's not in writing saying that the line is met. I mean, it only shows it's only met under these concerns. So it's hard to say, you know, we're gonna keep with the line of sight, but you don't really have enough structure to pinpoint that line of sight.
Right, and when the house is across the road, that's, you know, we don't, where it makes that curve, I don't think we can use the house
No, you
across
can't,
the road.
and we don't even have one other than,
Yeah, there, that first line is.
right, the first line, red line. But
I guess why don't you guys, because there's a street there, we just can't use
what
it?
is that?
The language says
The corner-
immediately adjacent on
What
either
is the
side.
corner right there in the house right there that you were talking about where it's sold, not the other one?
Which
I know it's,
This
I mean-
one's connected here and that's all one there.
and that, yeah, because they're connected,
To me,
considered L1. Yeah,
Look,
that's right.
those are
Yeah.
immediately adjacent. That's a parcel. Those will be combined. That's a parcel. I
No,
don't
I
know.
was
Again,
going back to
I
the
don't
other
get a vote
because a
on
lot of
it.
those lots are not,
So you're saying
they're
that
not combined.
the one that crosses the road is a lot and we have to use that house even though it's on the other side of the road?
my
But it's considered
understanding
one lot.
is that that's one lot, one parcel number.
I would
That,
hope-
yes, that's my understanding too, yes.
Exactly. Tell them to hire Jim Easterday.
Because he's the one that,
Made this mess for us. In the
Well,
first
the house that they actually called the road, the easement
Yeah.
on this last proposal that came into on the application. I mean, I'm still kind of blown over that one. Because we're flip-flopping now.
right, well, yeah,
And I mean, you know, I don't like setting precedents, but at the same time, I don't like just going against precedents that was set according to the ordinances.
well, and that's why I wanted to talk to you
Oh, yeah.
guys before I talked to them.
Yeah.
I know that they've already talked about it, and I've kind of put it off and said we should meet down there and discuss it.
I think if the discussion should be, first of all, where are they proposing to put the house?
Well, that I don't know. I haven't seen the plans.
No, I know.
They're gonna want to put it as far forward as
As
they
far
can.
close as you'll
And
let them,
because
Barry.
the
That's the
closer they
answer. A
can-
foot away,
The
2 feet
closer they
away.
can get it, the bigger the house they can
Right.
build.
Oh, yeah.
Can I go out onto the lake?
Yeah, it would if it could.
I can't tell what's on that light blue lot. Is there a house on that?
Yeah, if you could see the line furthest to the left
Yes,
on the screen, Chester, the red line, there is a
Yeah.
house that stops at that corner. It's kind of at an angle towards facing to see.
Oh,
I know it's
okay.
kind of, the
So
roof's
it's
brown.
touching the-
brown.
touching the corner of that house that's on the south side of the curve.
Yeah. Yep. See where my arrow is? That's the outline of the house there, it looks like.
Yeah, okay.
And
And then the house
let's go with that.
across the road on the north side of the curve is sitting,
So
yeah,
no choice in that.
My
I mean, if it's-
understanding
if it's
was those
a one
lots
lot.
were set up as, the road goes across the lot. Is my understanding. So therefore, technically, the house would have to be behind or right even with that line. It would have to go back, say, tore it down and build another one, not closer to the lake, but further back.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna, they don't meet setbacks.
To meet setbacks and build there. I mean, basically, they could build on the same, without a variance, they could build on the same foundation.
Yeah.
And if there's something else, they should apply for a variance.
Which if they wanted to move back, whichever way you go.
Either direction.
Either direction.
Yeah.
But if they tear it down and want to build, then they have to have a permit, meet all setbacks, whatever. And that's what I'm saying, move it back away from the lake more.
It's
They
not
wouldn't
gonna
meet-
meet the
they
front
wouldn't
yard.
meet
Right. Well, it's got 2 front yards, yeah, because it's on the corner, so.
Right, they've got 2 front yards.
But we allow you to tear down and build back on the exact same footprint without a variance. So that's an option for them if they'd like to do anything else.
They're about 15 feet off the property line there on the north now, so. And they can
How
expand.
close are they? They look like they're almost right on the road.
Yeah, it doesn't meet front yard setback either, I don't think right now.
No. And the setback from the road is, I don't know how many feet they got there. Oh, now I can see it better.
About 15 feet.
That's from the street. How about the curve? How far are they from the curve?
Yeah, you're right.
11?
Shortest distance looks like almost 20. Maybe 20?
Yeah.
What
So
is
maybe-
it? 20? Is that, how many feet is that?
About 20
can't-
feet, it looks like, Chester.
Oh, 20 point something. Okay.
Yeah,
That's-
which I think it's is it
And
20?
what do you need? 25?
I think so.
Yes,
Yeah, 25.
So if they want to build another place, they can leave it on the same lines. Looks like to me.
That's my thought.
Is anything else that caused them to go back a little further? Well, they're right on it now. If that left line is what we're using, it's right there.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. It's real close, I think. Well, I don't know. That might not be what they want to hear, Chuck, but gave you some feedback.
we'll talk with them. If they don't like it, they can,
They can appeal your administrative decision to BZA if they don't want
Right.
to apply for a variance, so.
Yep.
right.
All right. I think that's all we've got. Thank you, Chester.
You bet. Thank you.
Talk to
Chuck,
you
you're
later.
gonna drop those forms off at the,
One of us will let you know as soon as they're here, Chester. Don't worry.
okay, great. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm
See
interested
ya.
in looking at that.
Yep.
See what other communities are doing.